Being black was not enough to secure allyship with other black people during the Gilded Age, and it's summed up perfectly with Phylicia Rashad's character when they have the conversation between the Scotts and the Kirklands. Here we have two black men, both in medicine, and both extremely wealthy, but in her mind, it's about legacy and color.
I must have a word with the governess. I have told you not to leave those children out in the sun too long without an umbrella. The last thing they need is more sun.
In her mind, it's bad enough that her light-skinned son is interested in their dark-skinned daughter. She's willing to give them a chance because they're wealthy, but then she starts grilling them about their legacy. And that's where the shit hits the fan.
I was freed. I came north to take advantage of the opportunities that came with emancipation.
Oh, I see.
The Kirklands never knew enslavement. Actually, they might have even owned slaves because she says this.
I lived in Rhode Island for 5 generations. My great-great-grandfather fought in the American Revolutionary War.
And then Mr. Scott asks, did they fight for the British or did they fight for the Revolution? That's a big question.
Oh, he was a proud freeman and a patriot.
Her family fought for America, which means that they were okay with the status quo and what was to become when this country was founded, meaning that they had no problem with almost 100 years more of enslavement. Mr. Scott even mentions that if her daughter and her son have children and the children look more like the daughter, she's going to treat them like servants. She also hates that her potential daughter-in-law is ambitious. She hates that she writes about formerly enslaved people, and she hates the fact that she wants to vote because she comes from a legacy of luxury, out of sight, out of mind.
Who was to be a good wife and mother? But I suppose young women don't want that anymore.
Oh, I want to be a good wife and mother who has the vote.
Well said.
This is such a good show. If you're interested in history, you should watch it. In The Gilded Age, Phylicia Rashad plays the sister of the first black graduate of Harvard. The man who was the first black graduate of Harvard is a man by the name of Richard Greener. Now, Richard Greener was a scholar and he was very well connected, but I really want to focus on his family. The most famous of his daughters was Bella DaCosta Green. A lot of times when you hear him mentioned, you only hear people talk about her because she was the private librarian for J.P. Morgan. But he had more than one family. The first family that he had was with a woman by the name of Genevieve Fleet. This was Bella DaCosta's mother. She was a white passing black woman. I think this is Bella DaCosta. I wasn't able to find a picture of Genevieve Fleet, but this was the closest I was able to get. In the 1890s, her and Greener eventually divorced. Now, because of that, it's believed that Genevieve had all of her children take the R off of their last name. That's why her name is Bella DaCosta Green and not Bella DaCosta Greener. And because they were white passing, they were able to assimilate into white society as a whole, essentially abandoning any trace of their notable father the same way their father allegedly abandoned them. Now, Richard Greener ended up working in Russia as sort of like a diplomat, and he ended up meeting a Japanese woman. Her name was Mishi Kawashima. I wasn't able to find a verifiable image of her online. There was one image on Facebook, but I wasn't sure if it was really her. A rumor started to spread about Richard Greener being a drunk and having a Japanese mistress, and he had to leave Russia, which also meant that he had to leave the children that he had with Mishi. It's believed that he lost contact with his children and then also regained contact with them and stayed in contact with them until he died. Eventually, one of his grandchildren moved to the United States, and it's believed allegedly that this man is a direct descendant of Richard Greener, Charles Bozeman. And if you look him up, you will see a lot of things.